When you buy an action camera cost almost $500, you don't just set everything in auto and start to record. Today I'm gonna share everything I know about the video setting for Hero 9 and Hero 10. So you may make the perfect setting for your video and nail the exposure every time. Shall we? As you might see, we still need to scan the QR code and then you are allowed to put it inside. I think it should be kind of free, you know. 你好，这边要买门票的是吧？
白天是免费的。
哦，好的好的。It's actually free in the daytime. You just need to scan the QR code and you will get a free ticket. For some activities, you gotta pay a little, but that is totally volunteered. And in the evening, there were extra activities and you gotta pay the ticket. I'm not sure how much it costs. I'll put the link side. The infinity pool, the side may cost 40, I think. Seemed quite fun, but I'm just gonna pass. And the beach beside me, 100% free. Except, damn, it's 34 degrees right now. Whew. So this is what I come for. I mean, not the toilet, but there. Right, left, right, reverse. Now, although it's actually take a while for you to understand if you want to turn around, move left or right, but I would say this is quite fun. If your hand is long enough, you can drag yourself back like this. Thing is, I haven't do the job yet. Okay, so I'm gonna try my best. When you press mode, you have photo, but I prefer use cell phone to make photo. And time lapse and video setting is similar. So we'll just go inside. You can edit whichever you like. Here I will just go into standard. Resolution and FPS. GoPro 10 can do 5K 60 FPS. For GoPro 9, it can only do 4K 50. But to be honest, I only use 4K 24 because when you're editing and export, usually you only export 4K or Full HD. Of course, if you want to shoot slow-mo, that will be different. Yeah, this is GoPro 9. Terrible touchscreen. Confirm. Shoot. For lens, when you turn the HyperSmooth on, you will have several. For super view and wide, when the view is quite far away from you, it's usable. But if something close, again, this cell phone, the helmet, they have all bent, especially this edge here. It's not horizontal. So if you need to use them, be careful. I would prefer super view because since there is already distortion, why not go with the largest, widest view? And for the one I use most for vlog is this one, linear. Linear is kind of, you have a larger room, you can go with narrow, but why not go with linear? You have wider view, not bend. You can zoom in a little bit since you are using 4K. So narrow, almost never use it. I mean, if you want, of course you can. For this one, horizontal leveling, when you turn the boost, you can use this function. The idea is when your camera is tilting, you see the horizontal, it doesn't change. I don't really like that too much because if there is tilting, I can adjust it later. And there is a camera angle named Dutch angle, which is you can actually tilt the camera because you want to like focus something at one side. For me, I use, anyway, you already know what you can use. For boost, the different mode, you might have different selection. The HyperSmooth on, it crops 10%, and this boost is cropped a little bit more. For GoPro 9, actually you can only turn it on or turn it off. But for GoPro 10, if you press it a little bit, you can select it different and try which one suits you best. So in this case, GoPro 9, you suck. And here you might only see, okay, why I only have 3 is because here in the lens, if you go with linear, you will find the extra. You boost the high, I would recommend you go with the highest and then lower it down. So why do I recommend you might want to turn it off and try them? The reason is because, let's see, when it's HyperSmooth, right? Hey bro, you can see me immediately. Now let me use the boost. Hey bro, you see the delay? I see. Boost on, something strange is happening. No without. But of course, if you are doing the sport, you have to turn it season. schedule capture. I think it's used like a time lapse or something like that, because for instance, if you want to shoot sunset and dawn, you can use this function, so you don't have to wake up early or sleep late. For the duration, it's kind of after shooting how many seconds, minutes it will turn off. This can be used together with scheduled capture, so you don't have to waste your whole battery since you ask the camera to turn on and shoot automatically. The HindSight, you may never want to use it. Whenever you press it, it will save the 15 or 30 seconds before you press it, which means the camera is keep working. Definitely you don't want to use this function because you don't have enough battery, bro. The timer is used for photo because if for video, you can always cut it. Like 3 seconds delay after you press the button, it will wait 3 seconds before you take picture or video. Now let's go to the ProTune. So the bitrate I recommend you to make it high because it seems for optimal image quality. Don't worry about the SD card capacity. The battery always die first. Just remember it only works when the resolution is above 2.7K. The shutter, I would recommend you to make it auto. There is a 180-degree rule, but that is based on you have aperture and ND filter to work with. For GoPro, no, you don't have it. And EV compensation, I would recommend you to set it -1 or -2. Let's say I make it 10, right? Here you can see the sky is in the middle. It's already, like here, the middle, it's already blowed away. Let me do it to -1. As you can see, the edge is darker. You can always adjust it, but the middle is no longer being blown out. Personally, for me, I would prefer there is information there, and the dark can always be darker. It doesn't matter. But the highlight is kind of shining too much. I just don't like that feeling. But there's one way you can do to adjust the exposure. So what I did here is I pressed the screen to test the camera. This is the highlight. You need to expose it correctly, and to do that, you can also lock it. But actually, if you are riding and the environment is keep changing, I wouldn't recommend you to do that. If you don't want to mess with the exposure and lock it, I would recommend spot meter, because somehow we always focus in the middle, right? Here, white balance, leave it auto, because otherwise it make it cooler or warmer. You definitely don't want it to do that. Make it auto will be fine. For the ISO minimum, always 100. Max, I would recommend you to 800 or 1600. The higher it goes, the brighter it will be. I will have another example here. On GoPro, I tried ISO 100, 800, 1600, and 3200. In ISO 100, the information is completely lost. I cannot bring it back. For the 800, as you can see, I can try to match it as ISO 1600. The 3200 actually seems okay. With lower ISO, AD can be introduced to have sharper image. I recommend you to do somewhere around 800, but you can always adjust it a little bit in the software. You can just think this is the 100, this is 800. You have larger room to work with. If you just crash it to too low, the place you can work is also shorter. For sharpness, you can just understand it is the edge. If you make it high, the edge is more noticeable. And if we make it low, it will be a little bit blur. For me, although you can actually do it in the software to make it blur or more sharper, but I would prefer use media because so I don't have to worry about that. And also, if you set it here too low, even you can adjust in the software, it's not always the same as you set in the camera, which is I have found out. For color, color just to make it a GoPro, it's very saturated and it's kind of S-curve. For GoPro 10, you have a natural, but trust me, never use that. If you want a natural, then the flat is the way to go. But if you use flat, it's better you know a little bit about the color grading. For the raw audio, I don't want to mess with that because at the set it will be processed. I don't want the already hot camera be hotter, and not to mention I always use a shotgun microphone, so it doesn't matter too much. Wind, I don't worry too much because I always use an external microphone. Here for media mode, for GoPro 9, it seems you can set whatever front, back, and you will have an indicator here. But if you connect the external microphone, you can see the wind and the media mode, they have all been gray, means you have connected. But for GoPro 10, it's not. And actually, I have come across some problem when I select like the back and front and connect the external microphone. the external microphone actually doesn't work. The way I fixed it, not fixed, I handle with it is like, for example, if you set to front and back, you can see the audio meter will be on. It's like this. You will see the audio meter. Both 9 and 10. If you set it to camera mic, here you can see there is no metering. But for GoPro 10, if you connect it, then there will be metering again. And because you know you didn't set in front and back, and there's metering, so you know the external microphone is working. For GoPro 9, it actually doesn't matter, because once you connect it, it will disable everything. I don't know why, but seems not bad. And the shortcut you actually have seen me using it multiple times. Here you can see you can put something which you use constantly at the outside, so you don't have to go inside the detail menu and then you can change it. And if you find you want to change something else, what you can do is you can hold it for a few seconds and then you can adjust it differently. What I recommend is lens. It will definitely take place, and for the EV accommodation, because you want to set it to minus, but if it's a raining day or the light is low, you want to make it 0. And another one is the boost. For the last one, usually I set for color or sharpness. So basically that's it. And of course you can set other setting, like you can do slow motion, which will be Full HD. You can set it differently. So if you wanted to shoot some slow motion, you know you have it. You don't need to go inside the detail and change all the resolution, stuff like that. Wow, did you see that? Beautiful. Well, the one thing I need to tell you, actually I have sold my GoPro 10 and kept the GoPro 9. So why is that? Well, before I was thinking to sell the 9 and keep the 10, but when I put it online asking for $115 less for the 9, actually there is very few people asking me about that, and actually some of them want less. And I was thinking, okay, let's try GoPro 10, because on the website I see the price is still quite good. And I was thinking, you know, I know GoPro 10 is better because the touch screen is more sensible. But if you know, I actually put my GoPro 10 at POV view, so actually I didn't use the touch screen too much. And another thing is, the GoPro 10 has different mode, like the performance mode, battery mode, and it seems I always use performance mode, because for battery mode the icon is so strange, and when it's in the saving battery mode, it's just I think the function remains the same. It's just you cannot shoot in 5K 60 FPS, but to be honest, I don't really care too much. As I mentioned, you don't use 5K. It's just the icon. I don't like it. But what I found is, when the 9 is still having 50% battery, the 10's battery has already been dead. I mean, of course, it's using the media mode. I understand that, but still, compared to 9 with the media mode, it still consumes faster battery. So I assume it might be because of the new processor. It consumes huge amount of battery. Anyway, about that 10, actually I put that 10 almost the same price I have bought, and I have used it to like 2 months. And the first day I put it, there is already a lot of inquiry, and the second day I adjusted the price a little bit, and then it's sold. So do I regret that? Well, nope, because I think last week I mentioned if there is only one place I can put my camera, it will be in this place, and now I have only one camera. And actually it's not I sold the camera and that's it. Actually I also bought another mirrorless camera. It will take I think a few months before I can receive that. That is another story. Anyway, that's it for me, and I hope this video assists you with the GoPro 9 and the GoPro 10 setting. If you have any questions, leave comment below. See you in the next one. Peace!